qualifying session that gave us rain in the desert. It gave us McLaren gambling on the technical directives, and Max Verstappen does that 21 thing in blackjack. Anyway, I'm useless at gambling. This is View from Luffield. We've got loads to talk about. As a Ferrari fan who've had the same issue that McLaren has, this is going to be fun. Welcome to View from Luffield.
Yeah, welcome to View from Luffield, whatever.
I mean, if you hated Vegas before, you really hate Vegas now, don't you? Oh, wait. Sorry, hang on.
You turncoat. You turncoat. We will get on to the big headline, because it is the big headline. Of course, it's the big headline. We will get on to it in a minute. Like Phil said, a lot happened actually in the Vegas Grand Prix. But what I will say is, actually, I'll start this off with this. A lot happened at the Vegas Grand Prix, but not a lot that makes me change my opinion on Las Vegas. And it's very easy for me to sit here. Everybody who's watching this will know what's happened and they'll have heard the news. And if you haven't, we'll tell you about it in a second. It does explain why I started the episode with my head in my hands. But it doesn't back up that none of on Friday. Did you notice on Friday practice we had another loose drain cover?
Yeah.
Like again with this, we've been to Vegas 3-4 times now. That's twice we've had a loose drain cover. Why can't they understand that it's unsafe? And if the track isn't fit for purpose because it is a Las Vegas strip, because it is a street circuit, then let's stop going. We've had another race where it was arguably cold, and I think we've had teams struggle with heating up the tyres. I know the rain didn't help, and when you got a wet race, that's fine. But stop doing races in the desert on a Saturday night in November. I don't care how hot it's meant to be. In November, in the middle of the desert at night, it's cold. It's nonsense. Get rid of Vegas. I'm bored of it. And yes, I am partly ranting because of what's happened to McLaren. But anyway, I digress. Sorry,
what I was going to say, I'll take that off now because I feel like it's a red rag to a bull right now.
A Red Bull to a Red Bull.
I'll move me Lego then, shall I?
Oh, God.
Oh, sorry. As somebody who's got nothing to watch for at all this season now, this is adding a bit of spice. But can we go back to a few things? Can we pick up Vegas's pants, right? And there are American tracks, an American track that is good.
One, yeah. If you say North America, there's two. If we're going to take Canada,
Mexico's a great track.
A three, sorry, then yeah.
But let's go back to start, right? Firstly, let's talk about silly liveries.
And silly helmets. Can we talk about silly helmets as well?
Oh, hang on. Lando was king of the silly helmet.
He was. I'm 100%. I'm backing it up. Like both. One thing that's annoying me is we keep going back to these silly liveries and silly helmets for a track, and all we're doing is Vegas is a spectacle, right? There was a moment during qualifying that I watched it, and I can't remember whose lap we were watching, and you were going down the Vegas Strip, and you had all the lights, and you had a different livery. I can't remember whose car it was, and it all looks. Don't get me wrong, it all looks spectacular, but that's not. We're not watching a superficial sport. Stop with the helmet. And the FIA have annoyed me a little bit, actually, because have you seen the news this week that they've allowed people to change? But before I carry on, if you haven't already figured out I'm in a bad mood, the FIA have allowed people...
in quite a good one, so this is going to be great. This is different.
The FIA have allowed people to change the numbers from next year.
They're allowed people to apply to change the number.
All right, but it's still the same principle. They're not going to turn it down unless they want something stupid like 69. So they're not going to turn it down, which actually, ironically, Max did say he wanted, but his dad told him it wasn't a good idea, which did make me chuckle. But it goes back to, we've had this rant before. It goes back to that they are your team colours. Your helmet is your colour. That's like what you associate with. And then going all of a sudden to change numbers now, I feel like, I know it's only once, isn't it, that they can change the numbers.
Yeah.
So they can't continually do it throughout the course of the season. But it's not long until we get the fact where someone's allowed number 12 one weekend. I know it's Antonelli's number, but they're allowed number 12 one weekend as a nod to Senna. They're allowed. It's like, no, just Stop it. Stop letting people change the helmet. Stop letting people change the liveries for absolutely no reason. We've had this discussion before. You can change your helmet for one reason, and that is when it's your home Grand Prix. If you want to change that one reason to something else ridiculous because you like the idea of advertising Las Vegas in Las Vegas, then whatever. Don't care. But stop. Anyway, shall we move on to the action?
We'll move on. Okay. Friday was. Sorry, I was just going to start. Friday was boring. Saturday was. Well, it rained, but it was boring.
It was really boring. Can we before we move on to obviously the latter stages of qualifying? What? And I know this is going to translate. Huh?
I'm a Ferrari fan. What are the latter stages of qualifying?
Well, and I was going to make a dig, but I have no position to argue anything today. I'm in no position to be rude today. In qualifying, what happened with Hamilton? Like, and then B, even so, what happened with Leclerc? Like, Ferrari have got to, because I know you will say this, and I will agree. Ferrari, their race pace again looked pretty relatively decent. They're again in that position. But, and you could argue that obviously they set up for a dry race because they didn't anticipate the rain, and I get that, I understand that. But for Lewis Hamilton to qualify 20th, I actually did a bit of digging on this. Do you know who the last Ferrari driver to qualify last was?
Was he in your top 10 drivers?
No, ironically, no. The reason I did the research is because I thought it would be him, but it was the person who replaced that person who is in my top 10 list of bad drivers. Fisichella, yeah. And I've forgotten, because I did this on Saturday night, so I've forgotten which race, whatever. People, if you know, please tell us in the comments. But I did see this. So, but you think how long ago was it that Fisichella was in a Ferrari? Like, Ferrari have had tough time. Yeah, so Ferrari have had tough times in that point. But that is, I'm sorry. Regardless of, I know he hit a bollard, I know he didn't get time out, but one thing that I can't remember who said it in commentary, but why is I think it might have been Jenson Button, why is no one saying to Lewis, hurry up, what are you doing?
Bernie Collins defended this, and she's right. His mechanic said, you'll have to push to get a lap in at the end.
All right, so flip that round then, the other way. Why is he not responded? We're talking about a 7-time world champion here. What has gone wrong there for him to not get another run?
I mean, let's be honest. We've talked about this since Schumacher retired. I mean, we're going back that long. The Ferrari isn't good in the wet.
Yeah,
they don't seem to build a car that is capable of putting those groove tyres on and going around a racetrack. I mean, there's an argument said that Shuey's Ferrari wasn't good in the wet. Shuey was just that good in the wet. Yeah,
he made
a fair point. But
yeah.
It doesn't they don't ever seem to take that into account. I mean, they struggled to go around corners this year anyway without baking the tyres. But on a straight line with race fuel and everyone else having to lift and coast, Lando Norris near the end, we saw you running out of fuel. The Ferrari looked game. It looked really game in race trim, but it rained, it's qualifying. Apparently, Ferrari were running high downforce, which is even more frightening if they can't do that.
Bad. There's a point. Sorry, I was going to say there's a point in there to say that you can be bad in qualifying in the wet, but still get. If you want to compete for the constructors and for the whatever, there's been bad in qualifying, but getting 7th, 8th, something like that, and then being able to rescue it in the race.
Yeah,
arguably like Leclerc did.
Yeah.
To get 20th. And yes, he hit a bollard. Yes, he didn't get time to do the lap and whatever. But don't forget, this is Lewis Hamilton. That we used to praise him in the wet, like we praise Max now, like we praise Shuey in the past.
Yeah.
Lewis, the minute you saw a raindrop, Lewis Hamilton would have a big smile on his face.
I don't know. Give Max the keys to one of those Ferraris and see if he can get it around the track in the wet, I suppose. And
yeah.
Like I say, I've got nothing to talk about in terms of Ferrari today, to be honest with you. Great in the race, by the way, and fair play to Lewis. He stayed out of danger. He ran a good strategy, put himself up into what became 8th, as it was determined. But it was just, yet again, like you say, barring the spectacle of some bright lights, it was tedious. It was awful. And street circuits, we're not big fans of anyway. There are some exceptions, you know.
Yeah, there are some exceptions.
But
name one.
Las Vegas in one of them.
Canada, Australia.
I'm really clinging on to trying to find something. To try and talk about something other than what we need to talk about, and I know you're putting off talking about.
Well, let's go quickly. We'll go on to qualify. Staying on qualifying. I thought Lando Norris's lap, there was a little bit of a wobble, obviously coming out of one of the corners. I don't know what it was, but at the end of the second sector, I think he had 9 tenths. Mm-hmm. That is unreal. And other than a little bit of a wobble in one of the pig's hooves on the track, then it was a phenomenal lap. And to be fair, for that to finish only, I think it was 3.5 tenths. I might be wrong, but for that to only be 3 tenths quicker than Max almost felt a little bit unfair. Like, it was so much better. Yeah. And then
he was class, and let's be honest, he showed Piastri up again today.
Well, as a
McLaren,
as a McLaren fan, as a Lando Norris fan, I watched qualifying on Saturday morning and thought to myself, knowing that Lando had obviously got back-to-back wins, you're starting to think that the confidence is starting to go with him now, especially how dominant he was in Mexico, and then going on to Brazil and thinking everybody had said that was going to be Max, and for it to be Lando, it's like you're thinking, right, now the momentum's on his side, and then that lap on Saturday, and you think, oh my word, he's going to absolutely run away with this, and then turn one.
I mean, there was, before we go to turn one, there were some good performances in quali. The Racing Bulls looked really good. Hulkenberg doing Hulkenberg things. Carlos Sainz looking phenomenal again.
Sorry, we've not given him any credit for that. Sorry.
Delivery, but well done, Carlos Sainz. But barring that, it was the Lando Norris show. And yes, I have said that, everyone. That is a shock. I am bowing down. Yeah. Well, I can't look. I mean, look. I was a bit of a Bob before because I am wearing a.
Don't be a Bob.
Don't be a Bob. Anyway, turn one. I don't know if it's 150th race. Lando. I don't know if it's him putting a bit of pressure on saying win this and I've sealed it pretty much. I don't know if the idea of Max Verstappen being alongside you with nothing to lose will play on anyone's mind. I don't care what anyone says.
Had Lando have won, Max is out.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know if that was particularly playing on his mind, but I think he knew he had an opportunity to do something, hold Max off, and that's probably the biggest threat at the moment.
And that would have been the big thing for McLaren. Sorry, to say that would have been the big thing for McLaren. Get Max Verstappen out of the title race. Because we've spoke about it on this channel before, that for so long it was which McLaren's going to win it. Then all of a sudden Max has just reappeared, and we had on the YouTube, go and check it out, or on our TikTok, the Jaws video, which the editing, by the way, is horrendously bad.
Oh, it's exceptional. Exceptional. You wouldn't know who was edited.
No. I'm not expecting any Oscars for that in CGI. But we had that with Max coming up, and from McLaren's point of view, it would have been. I think the team would have subconsciously put that pressure on Lando today as well, just because it's a case of get Max out of the situation, and then we can go back to, yes, you'll be in the lead, but we can go back to there's no other parties, and it can just be which McLaren driver is going to win it. And I do think we've seen this from Lando a million times before. We've praised him recently, but how many times have we seen him get a terrible start to a race?
You see, that's the thing, though. Both of them were pretty even off the line, off the initial head into that first corner. Now, if you look at, and Anthony Davidson did something, before the start of the race, of the different lines, and when Max decided he was going all or nothing against Leclerc, the first Vegas Grand Prix and everything. I don't know if something like that played on Lando's mind, but they got off and he's straight over as far left as he can, to protect from Verstappen. Now, the problem is going far left. I know it rained and it wasn't as dirty as it could have been. But Max pretty much backs off and moves back out right slightly as Lando goes straight on. Because there's no way you're slowing down and making the apex from that side. And Max went through and almost gave him a little nudge on his way back his way back towards the racing line.
Max does.
But, they didn't touch, but Lando certainly knew that there was a Red Bull coming through, and nothing. It was nothing unfair. I don't even think it was picked up by someone going, "Oh, naughty Max." It was just, I'm just going to let you know that
elbows out, Max. Wasn't it?
Yeah. I'm having this space now. You've given it me. Good luck. And from there, it was a genuine, typical Max Verstappen at the moment. It wasn't this hell for leather. I'm running off and beating everyone by 2 laps like he could do. It was, I'm holding this just this gap. I'm gonna build it. I mean, to be fair, Mr. Invisible got through.
The Invisible Man.
Sorry, and can I just point out, by the way, I was having this chat with Laura, and Laura said I'm being a bit harsh on Captain Invisible at the moment. And it's not that I dislike him. I just don't understand. I've never known a driver who does so little and turns up on the podium. So if you're a Mercedes fan, it must be brilliant to watch, by the way, because you don't see him, and all of a sudden he appears second, going woo. And so fair play.
He's uneventful, and I've said he's consistent, but he's just uneventful. You don't. George Russell has George Russell ever won Driver of the Day?
It was when he made his debut when Hamilton had COVID, and by the way, now that was a drive that amazed everyone.
That's what got him the drive at Mercedes. Yeah. Well, at the end of the day, there's far worse drivers out there, but So and then
we'll pick that up later.
The one thing I will say about Max is the drive today is evidence of. We've said before that Oscar Piastri is the coolest man in this World Championship, and then we've had to retract that because he's not. We've said that Lando Norris is the coolest man in this World Championship, and I don't think Turn 1 today is enough to make me go, oh, he's bottling it, throwing it away.
No.
Do you know what I mean? But Max is just that pure evidence of whenever anyone asks him about the World Championship, he sits there and he's just, the joke we touched on it earlier in the episode, the joke about saying he wanted number 69. He's not even thinking about that he might be number 1 next year. It is to him. Does he return to 33? Does he? It's irrelevant. It's not a big thing. But he's already got that mindset. So when he goes out on the track and these opportunities are almost handed to him, he can be quite cool, calm, considered, and collected, and just be, oh, I'll take the lead today. Thank you very much.
But the thing is it's. I mean, like I say, George Russell. There you go. I'll give him his proper name for a minute. By the way, he had a really uninspiring dark helmet as well to go with the dark track and the dull weekend, which just felt like they were asking me to make a comment. Anyway, it's as if he went, I've heard someone calling me a boring sod, so I'm going to make it more dull.
Anyway, he gets more boring.
I will pick something up that he said later in the race that annoyed me, but let's move on. So he goes through as well on Lando, as you know. And there's a moment where he starts putting pressure on Max. He starts trying to run for him, and that's great. You think you've got to go for the win. Good, you've jumped up there. You got to go. And Max just went. It was almost as if he went, "Oh God, there's that annoying."
Swat him away. There's a point, like you said. There's a point actually later on in the race. And going back to the comment about Max, there's a point later on in the race where Lando eventually gets Russell back, and then
get him.
Let's go and get Max. And Max is very much like, all right, fine. And I think I can't remember if it was 3 or 4 fastest laps in a row. It's like, it's as if he just went, no. And then obviously we saw Lando had obviously been pushing too hard. He had to coast. And obviously we know about the fuel issue.
But that's the thing, though. Lando had to coast by the end. Last lap of the race, Max goes and sets the fastest lap and that's the problem is, if you give Max that kind of freedom, he will dominate you like McLaren have this year. When you think enough, you go and bang a fastest lap in. If he gets the clear air and knows he's got a car that's capable of winning, he will embarrass you.
Yeah. And I mean, we've still seen it this season. That McLaren is light years ahead of other cars this year. We've said it on a number of occasions. You famously called it a rocket ship. He will do that to you. We've seen at Monza he did the same thing. Today is not necessarily the Max of old that's won the race by 3.5 days, like you say, but it's still Max Verstappen going, I am the best here, and I still don't think he thinks he can win the World Championship, but I think now, if he can keep that cool, calm, collected nature, because the McLarens are the only ones who are making little errors in this, let's be honest.
Mm-hmm.
And let's move on to the big error, because I don't want to talk about it, and but it needs to be spoke about.
Yeah.
Somebody at McLaren I haven't read all the details because I'll be honest, I watched the race this morning when I got up, and then the news has sort of broke as I've been going about my daily business. So I've read it. I know what's happened. I have an opinion on it, but I don't know what I've seen. That Andrea Stella's apologised to both Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri as well, because it's a team. Andrea Stella is 100% owning this, and fair play. He can't do anything else. He has to own this as a team error. My opinion on it as a McLaren fan, and we had this conversation because Ferrari got banned from China for the same thing or a very similar thing.
Yeah, well, it was only one of the Ferraris that got done for this, because remember, we excel at the disqualification game. So what we did was Leclerc was underweight his car, and Hamilton had ruined the skid blocks on his. So, we like to cover all bases. I mean, Hulkenberg in Hungary got done, didn't he, for the skid blocks thing as well? So it's not...
Look, it's a consistent rule, and my opinion of it is that McLaren deserve 100% what they've got. I honestly thought that when it came out, I'd sit there and go, "Oh, you may as well just give the world championship to Max Verstappen." And look, I would love to sit here. I'm annoyed and I'm angry and I'm frustrated by it, and it's wound me up today for obvious reasons. I, as a McLaren fan, don't want to see both of our cars disqualified from a race where we could have not ended the world championship today, but we certainly could have kicked one of the most dangerous rivals out of the picture had we have had a better weekend. And now
I was going to say, the way it ended, he was still in it.
Not the way the race actually unfolded, but had Lando won, Max was out of the World Championship. And I know you're right, the way the race unfolded, he wasn't going to win. But Saturday night, for us, so pre-race, you're thinking Max Verstappen might very well be out of this. So fast forward to Sunday night, or Sunday afternoon as we're filming this, not only is Max in it, but the McLarens have not scored any points this weekend. It's a good job the Constructors is done and dusted. And somebody at McLaren needs to 100% have their heads feeling. The one thing that I have a question mark over McLaren, and we've said this in the past, not necessarily on this channel because we haven't had the channel for that long, but McLaren are a relatively young team.
This version, the team, not the team. I mean the people within the team. Yeah.
It's a relatively young leadership setup. Andrea Stella is incredibly clever. We've praised him so many times, but this is his first position in this sort of role. We've often said in the past that McLaren can be a little bit soft. Now, I'm not saying that the person or the people or whatever that are responsible for this issue should be sacked. I'm not saying that we don't need to see anything over the top. But what's McLaren's response to this? Because you look in any sort of sport, when you've got something's got against you, it's not necessarily how do you deal with that thing, it's how you deal with the aftermath. That's gone now. McLaren needs to completely ignore that. That's gone. Vegas is a write-off. In my opinion, it shouldn't be a race. So, in fairness, Max's point should be null and void too, but that's just aside from the point.
Tell you what, go join Felipe Massa in court. You will have another...
Hey, we will touch on Massa actually, because that's obviously received a bit of an update. So yeah, for me, it's someone. The response to this now needs to be mega. And McLaren needs to. We go straight to Qatar obviously next weekend, and then we go straight to Abu Dhabi obviously the weekend after that. There needs to be a response now from McLaren, and they need to make sure that all bases are covered. Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri need to not worry about this week. They can't go into Qatar thinking, is there another issue? And maybe I'm overreacting because it's only one sort of thing. Yeah. But, Constructors champions, they've made a mistake today. 100% made a mistake today. Now, how do they respond? That's the big thing. It's gone. Leave it. How do you respond to it?
Well, I'd take a different view. I like that they're still pushing the limits of what's accepted as legal to put this to bed. The biggest issue they do have now, is they could have run the setup slightly softer and just let Max run away and just brought Lando and Oscar on second and third for the next.
Yeah.
So there's that. They've still got that killer edge, which is quite nice to see. They've got a massive issue now that they have to tell Piastri to back down from this, because if you look at the points, Max is equal on points with Oscar and he's only 24 points behind Lando. Now, I'm not a Max Verstappen fan. Laura is, the missus, but I am not. I can accept that he is the best in the world right now and probably the best driver of this generation. I wouldn't want to be looking over my shoulder as Lando Norris and seeing Max gunning at me, because he doesn't care. He will go for that gap that isn't there. He is Senna. If there's a gap, he's going for it.
Well, I said to you a few weeks ago, I said that at what point did McLaren make the decision that
yesterday?
And Zach Brown, to be fair to Zach Brown, he has said they're not going to. Zach Brown has said that this is going to continue to be, both two drivers are in the World Championship. I wonder if that's a different matter now, because Oscar's as close to Max. I get that. But we've said before, and I remember saying we should have got to Brazil. I think I changed it a little bit because that would have been Lando. That was just when Lando took a 1-point lead. So it would have been very unfair for McLaren to say to Oscar, back down, based on a point. But now, with 2 races left and a sprint, we're now at a point, 58 points left to play for, 24 points in it. They need Lando Norris to get over the line needs help. And what McLaren run a massive, we've said this before, McLaren run a massive risk of tipping this in Max's favour, because they can. Oscar's got to stay calm now, because Oscar's is 24 points too. Oscar can't make silly decisions, which ends the race for both. And Lando can't make those silly decisions either. So I'm picking on Oscar because he's the one behind. Oscar can't make these silly decisions now, like we've seen him try to do at Hungary, like what happened. I don't blame him for what happened in the sprint in Austin, but I think he could have helped. He could have prevented it. So you've got stuff like that now where we can't afford that. And Papaya rules, I have defended Papaya rules because I think fair play to a team for letting the 2 drivers go out and race. And even though there's only 24 points, still 58 left to play for, McLaren need to make a decision, because Max is going to win this World Championship, and McLaren are going to wake up the day after Abu Dhabi saying, how on earth have we thrown that away? And that's and this is, we don't know what 2026 will bring. We have no idea. That McLaren could be the worst car on the grid in 2026. We don't know. So this might be the only chance.
It's the Ferrari, but it could be the McLaren.
Yeah, and we don't know. This might be the last chance for both Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri. I know they're both only young, but this could represent the first chance. Also, what does it do to their confidence if they don't win this? Anyway, we digress. Last week, I'm going to finish on the race. Fair play to Max Verstappen, obviously, for winning the race. We don't want to concentrate too much on McLaren, although it is the news. But fair play to Max.
Fair play to Max for winning the race so far. I mean, God knows what the FIA are checking now. This could all change again. This could be null and void by the time we've actually. I mean, we're just lucky that it was an early race. Otherwise, we'd have recorded it saying, "Now Lando's got it in the bag," and then
we'd have changed. We'd have had to change. We'd have had to send out a new video. So on that, so fair play to Max Verstappen. We are going to give VFL Driver of the Day to indeed Max. It was a controlled. Typical Max Verstappen win. Fair play to you. Congratulations, Max, for the race win. But as a McLaren fan, politely, Max, would you please go away and do something else? Because you're now getting really annoying. You were like, oh, look at Max trying to get involved. Now you're doing my head in. Go away. Let's just quickly touch on a couple of other things that have happened in the world. One thing I did want to ask, because a bit of positive news for Lando Norris, and I wanted to pose this question to you. Today was Lando Norris's 150th start for McLaren. He now matches David Coulthard as the leading appearance maker, if that's the right phrase in Formula One, leading race racer for McLaren on 150. David Coulthard is considered a McLaren legend. 150 race starts, 13 wins in that time. Lando Norris has 150 starts and 11 wins. Is Lando Norris? You know what question's coming because I've set this up. Is Lando Norris a McLaren legend? I say no, because he's still going.
I was going to say, I'm going to take the easy way out, but in no way, for once, this is not a slight of Lando Norris, okay? This is not me having a go at Lando Norris. Is he one of the greatest they've ever had? Time will tell. This season could make or break that. It's incredible that he's been there since the start of his career. It's incredible that he's now in a position, with the help of the team, I'm not saying this is all Lando, but he has gone from the back of the grid and a very embarrassing place for McLaren to now being a front runner. It's incredible that he's been able to step up from a young, talented driver at the back of the field to one who can go and put away the race wins. You know, has he had a teammate as good as Mika Hakkinen?
No. But that's
which
not
is a nice little link, because if you notice that Ella Hakkinen has just signed for McLaren.
For McLaren. Yes, I did notice that. We have 3 Ellas now. Ella Lloyd, Ella Hakkinen, I can't remember the other one's name, I do apologise, but we now have 3 Ellas in McLaren.
So, no, but he will be. There you go. That is my... No, he's not right now. He has every right to be in the future.
I agree that he's not. I do agree with that. And I think World Championship or not, I think if he left McLaren at the end of the season, for instance, and didn't win the World Championship, I would still say he is, because the longevity that he's shown to the team, because there were some times, don't forget, there was some times when he's been in that, and Red Bull have danced around the idea of him. He's probably had options. He's a very, very talented driver. I don't consider him as one now. Be a bit of a difficult conversation if you're retired.
So it's very difficult. It's very difficult, though, isn't it? Because we said Coulthard is a McLaren legend. He never won the drivers.
No, he didn't. No, but Coulthard. Let's be honest. Coulthard was never the lead driver in McLaren. No disrespect to him, he never was. He was, and he was the perfect number 2 to Mika Hakkinen through 2 World Championships. So that wasn't Coulthard's role. Lando is now the lead driver, and whether he is. I know McLaren might play 2 number 1s, but he is. He's been there longest. He's got the he's got the experience. He is the number 1 driver. And very quickly before we do shoot off, do you want Ant v Phil? I'm not even going to bother. I don't know what the score is anymore. I've been absolutely conned out of Ant v Phil. I don't even know where Yuki Tsunoda finished, but Max Verstappen won the race. So 12. What's the point? I am praying for Max Verstappen to be disqualified for 2 reasons. One, because it would give me the win as Yuki Tsunoda, which would finish Ant v Phil, and obviously as a McLaren fan it would help me. But fair play to Phil. I actually don't know what the score is anymore. I have completely lost.
I think I'm 2 behind. No, was I 2 behind and now it's 1?
I think it's 9-8. I think. Yeah. I'll double check.
I don't think it matters. Let's be honest. If we both end up having a mustache for the last race of the season, who cares? I'm really not interested.
Oh, is that what we're doing for a draw? Should we do if it's a draw? Because to be fair, what we need to do is the decider needs to be Qatar next week, so that we can actually have the mustaches for the Abu Dhabi episode.
Are we not doing a post? Are we not doing an end of season?
Yeah. Okay. Do you want to have a tash for our VFL Christmas do?
No.
So it's 9-8. We think. If you disagree, put it in the comments. We've completely lost track of this. We will do a better job of keeping score next year.
Are you going for that next week?
I am going to say that they're going to bounce back. I'm going heart over head. I am absolutely going heart over head. Lando. I don't care. I'm not. Lando.
Can we? I know we've said we don't pick the same driver twice, but am I allowed to on this once just to add a bit of spice?
Yeah, of course you can. Yeah, you can have Yuki Tsunoda.
No, I'm going back to Colapinto.
Yes, you can. Are you going to pick Max?
I mean, don't get me wrong, this is a McLaren track next. Let's not beat around the bush. McLaren have had tracks that haven't been kind to the car. Very, very good performance by Lando in Brazil. Better than the car, I think, offered.
Should have done, yeah.
Yeah. But I do think Vegas pointed towards a Red Bull setup. Qatar points towards McLaren, but Max is a little...
Yeah.
Just for the spice of watching it, if I pick Piastri, I think he's already given up.
I do. I think he's out. I think he needs something now. He needs Max and Lando to take each other out or something like that. Yeah, I agree. Okay, so that's going to be our Ant v Phil predictions for next week. Phil's going to go with Max Verstappen again. We're going to relax the rule, and I'm going to go with Lando Norris.
I'll put Max out on one more time just for...
Going to show a little bit of loyalty. Come on, Lando, you've got to get this over the line. Lastly, just before we do wrap up for the day, do you have any comments on the Felipe Massa thing? Because I saw you shake your head when we brought it up earlier. For those who don't know, Felipe Massa has effectively won his opening court case. He has been allowed to pursue this. Effectively is what this initial court case was. So he has been told that they believe that he has a right to his point of view, and he's allowed to press this on and continue his appeal. So there is no... Lewis Hamilton is still the 2008 world champion. The money hasn't been given to Felipe Massa. He has just been told that he's allowed to press on.
Okay, I'll put my point across, and thank you. I can't remember who actually made the comment, but the comment on the video about Eccleston and Mosley knowing the cheat and everything. I love a bit of feedback. I love it if people prove us wrong or think they prove us wrong or have a different view. I'm not saying I'm the know-all. I have a opinion. I still think it's nonsense. I can't get my head around the fact that it's taken so long for him to appeal it. That it's Bernie Ecclestone couldn't determine the results anyway. He owned Formula One and the rights, but he wasn't the rule maker.
Question though, actually, let's just let me, because of the comment that we got on the back of the Felipe Massa episode, and thank you for it.
Yeah.
One thing I will say is, are we being a little bit too defensive of Formula One? I have no argument in it. I am a McLaren fan, but I'm not a massive Lewis Hamilton fan. People who know me know that. So I'm not Hamilton v Massa. Are we defending the sport? Because take this the right way. Let's say, for instance, we're both football fans. If someone came back and said that the 2008 Champions League, there was a problem with United's team, so they're going to take that off and give it to Chelsea, who we obviously beat in the final. Are we defending the sport by saying we don't want to see decisions brought back? Do you know what I mean?
No. What I'm saying though is, right, I'm going to word it, and you can agree or disagree. So United have found cheating. Yeah, they've played a player they shouldn't have played in a match. Now, does that mean that every other match that weekend should be cancelled? Because the cheating team were Renault. Singapore wasn't cheating. And let's be honest, even if you take out the Singapore Grand Prix, I'm sure Hamilton would probably still win.
Yeah,
I don't know. But it doesn't matter. The race was allowed to stand. Now, if you want to remove Renault from the championship, then we have to work out where Massa finished behind Renault and so on. It could, but it wasn't at the time. And I think 17 years after is too long. If you want to appeal it there and then.
And that's what I mean about defending the sport. Are we defending the sport because we don't want to find out? We don't want to wake up on Tuesday and find out that the 2008 world champion, someone from 17 years ago, is different now. I don't want to see that. I don't know.
But what, I mean, do you want someone coming up to you saying, "Oh, you kicked a football at my car at the age of 4, and there was some damage"? Now, if we, and anyone who we have kicked a football at, it was unintentional. You just haven't seen how crap we are at kicking a football.
Yeah, that sounded very specific. That.
yeah. Sorry, John and Pat. But you know what I mean. When is it too late? I still think it's nonsense. I think it is one of those unfortunate. I agree that it was maybe hard done by. Don't get me wrong, but I think that is the beauty of sport. Sometimes is that you don't always get what you deserve.
Great. Yeah, I agree. Okay, and that will be the way to finish this off. Lando Norris didn't get what he deserved today either.
Agreed. Neither did Ferrari in China.
No, but I don't care about Ferrari. I'm sad.
Let's be honest. What was it? 9th and 10th or something? We lost 3 points.
I'm sad today. But anyway, that is it for us. We will, of course, be back next week for Qatar. To remind you, there you go. I'll get the word out.
Rewind.
To quote Craig David, to re-eat wine when the girls
when the crowd say "Bo."
Oh God, I'm showing some poor early 2000s R&B knowledge here. So anyway, to rewind for Max v Phil, I'm going on. That's it. Right. I'm not even going to bother.
Check out DT Collect, everyone. Well, he's having a tantrum. Still keep on checking out DT Collect. He's still got some mega cards. It's still amazing entertainment, and there's still some sound people who join every week, and it's a good chat. Ignore him. He's having a sulk. He's having a tantrum. They don't get their own way. They don't like it. As for me, Max Verstappen,
And on that bombshell, we'll see you next week for Qatar. Cheers, guys.